Shalom friends, Rabbi Kugerkorn here to talk to you about this week's Parsha, which is Kedoshim. Perhaps the most important Parsha in the Torah. Why do I say that? After all Torah is important. But I believe it's the one that teaches us great insights on how we should behave. This Parsha is the central one in the Torah, literally. As we read Kedoshim, half of the Torah is behind us, half of the Torah is ahead of us within the context of the text. And if you're wondering if Kedoshim is the central parsha, which would be the central verse? The central verse is Leviticus 19:18, Ve'ahavta lerecha kamocha, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Hillel already said that is the most important concept in the whole Torah. Everything else is commentary. Now go and study the commentaries. So let's talk about this. What does Kedoshim means? It says, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. That's the Parsha begins. What does it mean to be holy? It's to be holy like to be a martyrized saint, statue of a saint in a church like this? Is it the holy shroud of Turin, holy water, or perhaps in Judaism, Kedusha, holiness, means something else. Kedusha means to be set aside. Doesn't mean that something that's set aside is better or worse. It's just different, set aside. Jews are commanded to be different. We're commanded to, even though we certainly have within us the same inclinations and the same drives that everybody else, we're commanded to behave better. And that's why perhaps we receive so much scrutiny from all the world. That's why when Israel does something that other peoples would do, for instance, in relationship to minorities within their world, Israel gets heavily criticized, in fact, not only by the rest of the world, but by the Jews themselves, because we hold ourselves up to a different and higher standard. And Sunday is going to be Yom HaShoah, the day that we remember the Holocaust. And I think specifically about Eichmann's capture. It would have been legitimate for Israel, for the Mossad, to go to Argentina, to blow his brains out and leave. And yet, they did a big operation, complicated operation, that included kidnapping him. If you read the book, the house on Garibaldi Street, of how Eichmann was kidnapped and taken to Israel so he could have a trial. A man who certainly promoted the killing of millions of our own people without any benefit of any doubt. Judaism requires that even for somebody as horrible as him, we would give him the right to defend himself. And that maybe it's an example of holiness, of being set to a higher standard, to act differently than other people would. How do we do that in our own days? How do we do it in our daily life? I think the key, again, lies in the center of the Torah, love your neighbor as yourself. We should act towards other people the way we wish they would act towards us. That's what it means to love your neighbor as yourself. And that means every human interaction we have with a waiter in a restaurant, with the guy at the supermarket, the guy who packs your groceries, even a relationship you have with your enemy, should be one guided by the concept is, am I acting towards this person the way I wish he would behave towards me? And if we do that, evidently puts us at a much higher, difficult, harsher standard that we set upon ourselves. On the other hand, allows us to get closer to that God we believe, a God that demands ethic and moral behavior from us. Shabbat Shalom. Hope to see you at Temple this Friday, any Friday. Bye-bye.